Today, we will discuss the importance of water in detail. The first point is that water is a medium for life. This means that for life to exist, the presence of water is essential. Do you know that if there were no water in the world, there would be no life? The second point is that water is the most abundant component of all living organisms. Every living organism on Earth contains a large proportion of water. In fact, between 65% and 85% of every cell consists of water. Since all living organisms are made up of cells, this means that 65% to 85% of each cell is water. For example, bone cells contain around 20% water, while brain cells contain 85% water. So, the percentage of water varies from cell to cell. On average, we can say that about 70% of a cell is water. The next important point is that all reactions in the body occur within cells. What kind of reactions are these? For example, we have reactions like cellular respiration, which happens inside cells. Similarly, the light reaction and dark reaction of photosynthesis also take place within cells. I have created a detailed lecture on light reaction and dark reaction. You can visit my channel to watch these. But for now, just know that the light reaction requires the presence of light, while the dark reaction does not require light, which is why it is called a dark reaction. The light reaction is also referred to as a light-dependent reaction. Cellular respiration and cellular metabolism also occur inside cells. These are just a few examples of reactions that take place in cells. Now, let's talk about water as a raw material. Water is used as a raw material in photosynthesis. How does it help? If you recall the formula for photosynthesis, you'll see that water is involved. In this process, water and carbon dioxide combine to form glucose. This is the photosynthesis reaction, where water acts as a raw material. Do you know what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is a process in which plants produce their own food in the presence of sunlight with the help of chlorophyll. The sixth important point about water is its role in biochemical reactions. How does water participate in these reactions? One example is the process of hydrolysis. Now, let me tell you what is hydrolysis. Hydrolysis is a process where molecules are broken down by the addition of water. The word itself is made of two parts. Hydro meaning water and lysis meaning breaking. In hydrolysis, when water is added to a compound or molecule, it breaks down. The opposite of hydrolysis is condensation. In hydrolysis, water breaks down molecules, but in condensation, small molecules combine to form a larger one. In condensation, a large molecule is created, while in hydrolysis, large molecules break into smaller ones. Small molecules are called monomers, while large molecules are called polymers. Let's look at some examples. Glucose is a monomer, also known as a saccharide. Its polymer form is a carbohydrate. Another example is amino acids, which are monomers that combine to form proteins. A third example is fatty acids, which are monomers that form lipids as their polymer. Finally, nucleotides are monomers that combine to form nucleic acids. I have also created a detailed lecture on proteins, lipids, nucleic acids. You can watch them by visiting my channel. The seventh point regarding water's importance is that water is an excellent solvent. No other solvent in the world is as effective as water for dissolving polar substances. There's a rule to remember, like dissolves like. This means that polar molecules dissolve in other polar molecules, and nonpolar substances dissolve in nonpolar substances. For example, water is a polar molecule. How is water polar? When water dissociates, it breaks into a hydrogen ion H plus and a hydroxide ion OH minus. Hydrogen has a positive charge and OR has a negative charge. making water a polar molecule. One more thing to note is that due to this polarity, most reactions in the world occur in water. This is one of the wonders of nature. The eighth important property of water is its ability to absorb heat. Water can absorb a large amount of heat, and this property allows us to stand in the sun for hours without being affected. Construction workers can work under the sun for long hours due to water's heat absorbing ability. Now, you might be thinking, how does this work? Let me explain this for you. Water contains hydrogen bonds, and these bonds are among the strongest in nature. In fact, the hydrogen bond in water is stronger than covalent or ionic bonds. Because of this strength, breaking these bonds requires a lot of energy. Since more energy is needed to break the bond, it means the bond is very strong. And because of this strong bond, water has a high heat absorbing capacity. That's why we also call it a temperature stabilizer. These are the amazing properties of water. That's why 70% of the human body consists of water, not any other liquid. This water that we drink and use has many properties. The ninth property is its high heat of vaporization. Water requires a lot of heat to convert from liquid to gas. As I mentioned earlier, it absorbs maximum heat before it changes from a liquid to a vapor. This process doesn't happen quickly. The specific heat of vaporization of water is 574 kilocalories per kilogram. Now, what is the specific heat of vaporization? Finally, the 10th important property of water is that it acts as an amphoteric molecule. What is an amphoteric molecule? An amphoteric molecule is one that can act as both an acid and a base. This is a unique property of water. To understand this, you need to know what an acid and a base are. What is an acid? An acid is a substance that donates protons. Now, you might be thinking, how does it donate protons? In this reaction, you can see two water molecules combining to form H3O plus and OA minus molecules. Here, one water molecule donates a hydrogen ion to the other water molecule, forming H3O plus. This is how water acts as an acid by donating protons. What is a base? On the other hand, a base is a substance that accepts protons. For example, in this reaction, you can see hydrochloric acid HCl reacting with water, forming H3O plus and releasing chlorine. Here, water is accepting a proton, so it acts as a base. Now, question of the day. What is the chemical formula of water? If you would like to watch my other lectures on topics like the lungs, kidneys, liver, brain and eyes, visit my channel to view my other videos.